Hello, friends and enemies alike, and welcome to my March wrap up and April plans. I update my journal many times during the month, so here I'm updating some of my yearly spreads by adding the books and movie I just finished. I color code those spreads according to the month I read or watched the different media. March is orange. I also add the books I bought recently to my physical TBR. And I color the box of the book I finished from my March TBR. Now I'm updating my year in pixel spread. In this spread, I track how much time I spent doing different things each day by coloring each box a different color according to the time I spent doing one of these activities. I track how much time I read, how much time I watch either a TV show or a movie, how much time I spent using or studying Korean and Thai. I've been doing very well for reading, but less so with my time spent with my two target languages. But I'm doing better than previous years, so improvement. I don't really care about how much time I spend watching things, it's more data that I think is interesting. In the next section, I will talk about the different media I consume, and there is probably going to be spoilers, so proceed with caution. I didn't film myself doing the spread for the video game Chance of Sonar, but I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I really like this game. I love languages and the themes of different groups with different beliefs that don't want or can't talk to each other and therefore are scared to interact and isolate each other. I really enjoyed deciphering the different languages and really recommend this game. Now about the book, Ne vous fiez pas aux apparences, or its English title, The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp. It was a really interesting book. The book mostly takes place during a couple hours where the main character is held hostage in a bank with her girlfriend, her friend, and a few strangers. While they do different things to get themselves out of there, we get information about the main character's past that relates to what's going on in the present. I thought this book was well divided and paced between the present and what happened in the past. I gave this book 4 stars. Now onto the TV show The Eclipse. I love this series. I watched it multiple times, and since I'm trying to learn Thai, I decided to watch it without subtitles this time and to concentrate on the language, even though I'm still very much a beginner in this language. I absolutely love the character and their growth, especially Axe. This guy went from totally brainwashed and strict rule follower that didn't question what he was told and did questionable things in the name of the school and those rules to being able to question things, forming his own thought and doing what he believes is right. And what I really love about his journey is that it's not linear. He starts to question things, but then he goes to do things that follow his original belief. But we see his cognitive dissonance while doing so, etc. I think they really represented that well. I really recommend this show even if there's part that may be a bit silly. The second book I finished in March is Vous êtes dans la boîte vocale de Sam, or its English title, You've Reached Sam, which I wrote the title wrong at first, but I'll fix this later when I'm at home and I have all my supply. I usually decorate my page in bulk, so if you'd be interested in me showing you how I decorate my pages, I could do a video when I decorate them. Anyway, this book was fine to me. I wasn't a fan of the writing, but I liked the concept. I was wondering for most of the book if the main character could really talk to her dead boyfriend on the phone or if it was a way to represent her grief, which was interesting but also confusing. Especially because certain things that happen with her phone are never clearly explained and some things seem inconsistent to me. So I don't necessarily recommend it, but it's also not that bad, so whatever. Then I read Emily White's Compendium of Lost Tales, which I loved like the rest of the series. Unfortunately, I lost most of the footage of me setting this up, but I'll show you what it looks like as of now during the flip through at the end. I really like the character in this series and their dynamics, especially of Emily and Wendell. I also enjoyed the character from previous book coming back and show that they are still in contact with Emily, especially since she used to be a loner that went around with only her dog Shadow to research. It really shows how important these people are to her. It's sad that this series is over, but I will probably reread it, even though I'm not really a rereader. The last book I finished in March is I Kissed Sarah Wheeler, which I absolutely loved, like way more than I thought, especially considering I borrowed it like 3 times from the library without ever reading it. I decided that this time I would read it before returning it, and I'm glad I did. I like the characters and the way they've developed despite their environment, which seems to be a theme in what I like. We ended with a bunch of queer teenagers protesting their Christian school, which was pretty cool. On another note, what Sarah did was insane. She really ran away and hid on a family boat for like a month and prepared by doing and submitting all her schoolwork in advance and leaving clues for like 3 people all over the place. Like, what the fuck, girl? Anyway, that was fun to read. Now onto my March stats. So this month, I read for 35 hours and 23 minutes. I read 1,464 pages and I finished 4 books. Of those 4 books, 3 were physical and 1 was an e-book. Of the 35 hours and 23 minutes I read, 0.6% was for university and 99.4% were books. I watched 26 hours and 33 minutes of TV show and finished 1. I also watched 1 hour and 58 minutes of movie and finished 1. I played video games for 17 hours and 31 minutes and 24.5% of those were on my computer and 75.5% were on my Switch. I drew for 2 hours and 57 minutes and wrote for 16 minutes. For my languages, I used or studied my languages for 35 hours and 31 minutes in total, which is 20 hours and 36 minutes in Korean and 14 hours and 55 minutes in Thai. For Korean, I spent 13.3% of that time doing active studying and 86.7% doing passive studying. More precisely, I spent 8 hours and 48 minutes playing video games, 7 minutes watching YouTube videos, 8 hours and 56 minutes watching TV shows, 22 minutes reading, 1 hour on story learning, and 1 hour and 23 minutes doing Anki. For Thai, I spent 5% of my time doing active studying and 95% doing passive studying. More precisely, I spent 45 minutes on Lingo Dare and 14 hours and 10 minutes watching TV shows. Finally, for my March stats, I listened to music on April Music for 26 hours and 27 minutes. My top artists are Extraordinary Heroes, which I listened for 11 hours and 39 minutes, Zero Base One, which I listened for 1 hour and 52 minutes, and iPen, which I listened for 37 minutes, X Love, which I listened for 30 minutes, and Got 7, which I listened for 25 minutes. My top songs are Fight Me by Extraordinary Heroes, Beautiful by Extraordinary Heroes, George the Lobster by Extraordinary Heroes, More Than I Like by Extraordinary Heroes, and BBB, Better But Better, I'll let you guess by who? You're right, by Extraordinary Heroes. Finally, here's my April TBR/W and my language plans. So in April, I want to read One of Us is Back, The Pairing, La Fille Venue de la Mer, or its English title, The Girl from the Sea, and Le Jardin du Diable, or its English title, The Woman in the Garden. I want to watch or finish the series Agatha All Along, My School President, Tempo, Tell Me If You Can, and The Royal Pin. I want to watch the movies Cars 2 and A Part of You. For my languages, I would like to reach page 151 of the book Neo Nopoda Na를 더 사랑해. Reach lesson 27 of level 7 of Talk to Me in Korean. Study 4 Iyagi intermediate lessons. Watch 1 TV show with Kimchi Reader. Reach chapter 5 of the story learning course. Play at least 10 hours of Hello Kitty Island Adventure. And reach chapter 23 of the graphic novel 연애 지상조의 구역. For Thai, I would like to reach the climate topic on Lingo Dear. Reach Are You Telling Me What to Do in Thai on Thai Pod 101. Do 10 minutes of drop every day and watch 1 TV show without subtitles, which would be Not Me since I already watched it multiple times. So here's the final flip through. you enjoyed the video and thank you for watching. Bye!